Hello, welcome to How to Level Up Fast with Druid. So it's a Grand Championship edition. Obviously, it's just come out very recently. So yeah, so this is the deck we've got here. There's a lot of different things that you might want to think about doing with this deck. So I'll just talk about some of them here. So you can see there's two Violet Teachers. It's an interesting turn 4 play. You could play Violet Teacher, Innovate, and then you could play Power of the Wild. So that'll give you 4/6, 2/2, 2/2. So that's pretty cool. Also got the Darnassus Aspirant. This is a pretty cool card. It can be good for ramp, but I wouldn't say, for instance, you don't want to just play a turn 1, with the coin, and then let it get killed by, say, a Fiery War Axe or a Frostbolt. Often it's good to, this is good for like, I would say between about sort of turn 3 and 5, turn 3 and 6. It's just one of the minions. Obviously there's some great combos. You could do Living Roots, get your two 1/1 saplings, put this down, Power of the Wild it. Power of the Wild obviously very powerful. In terms of turn 1, if you're going first, Innovate Shade of Naxxramas, not a bad play. That can work out pretty well. Obviously, classic Druid play is to coin Innovate, turn 2, Druid of the Claw. That's still pretty much the same. But yeah, often though, a Horny Creeper will be a good early turn against a lot of classes, because Horny Creeper will not be removed from the board. You can also start building out your tokens with maybe some Living Roots. But obviously, it's dependent on. Oftentimes, if you're going second, and the 1 mana cost thing comes out, say it's a Flame Imp, say it's a Mana Worm, say it's something which is powerful. You may want to get your tokens going early, but if you've got a Wrath, you should just get rid of it straight away, because it's going to affect your game plan anyway. And the chances are that they follow up minions. You'll have more mana, and you'll be able to do better follow up minions. Even if they do have follow up minions, which they may not have, which obviously will change the board in your favour. It's always good to look for the Savage Roar at the end. Remember, of course, there's a lot of damage here now. Living Roots actually can do damage as well. I won an awesome game where and that was the finishing move, 2 damage with Living Roots. So that can work out pretty well. Especially if you're at the end, you've got your Savage Roar in hand maybe, or you've got a Force of Nature in hand. Just looking for that little extra damage. And you just trying to defend off perhaps their minions at the same time. But yeah, like always with a lot of Druid decks, always keep in mind that you're always looking for that lethal from far away. It's very unlikely with the Druid it's going to be like they're on 4 health one turn, and then it's not like you can basically get down to 0 for a much higher amount. Like when you play a Hunter, for instance, that if you're on 10 health or above, there's a very low chance. Maybe if they get a Leok and they got some minions or something, but there's a very low chance they're going to be able to get you down to 0. But with Druid, obviously you got that 14 damage from Force of Nature, Savage Roar. That's it, one. And of course you've got Innovate to do more. But yeah, and Dr. Boom obviously is great because it's got tokens. If you've got any tokens at all, always put down Dr. Boom. Swipe is, I don't know. Swipe is, yeah. You can use swipe on a number of different occasions. Sometimes you're literally only going to swipe 1 minion. If you think you've got some good, like often you swipe an Azure Drake because Azure Drake is just too powerful. But yeah, sometimes you might want to swipe that. But yeah, obviously Violet Teacher is a very, very important card. When I used to play Rogue, of course, a lot of the Rogue decks. Rogue and Druid are my favourite decks. So. But when I used to play Rogue, a lot of the Rogue decks would have Violet Teacher in it, and obviously with the amount of you've got Innovate, you've got Power of the Wild, you've got Wrath, Savage Roar, Force of Nature. So you do have some good options for it. So always want to combo that Violet Teacher. Really good with a Wrath, clear their board. Maybe run a couple of tokens in as well. But yeah, Horny Creeper, very, very good early play. It's always been a very good play, even in Hunter decks, of course. It would be very good with Knife Juggler and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot of good plays. Keeper of the Grove. Thing is, if you've got enough tokens to, you don't always have to use it. You never coin into Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove should always just be played flat. Just coining into it is always a bad idea. You don't just, if there's nothing on the board. But here's the thing, there should be something on the board because you're very likely to have either Shade, either Dionysus, or Haunted Creeper, or Living Roots. So you've got like almost well, always, it's not a third, it's 8/30ths. That would be 4/15ths of your day. Is going to be decent cost mana that you should be able to get out early on, and from there, of course, you can ramp. Ramping, yeah, like I say, Dionysus Aspirant, pretty good for the ramp, and should work pretty well. But yeah, Druid the Claw. Now, oftentimes you see people put down there's not many cases where you don't want to put down the 4/6. But there may be certain cases. If you think your opponent can't actually remove it, a 4/4. So they've got like a 2/3 and a 4/2 on the board or something like that. It might be worth taking out that 2/3 because then it's just 4/2 versus 4/2. They can't take it out. They're trading in and get 2-for-1. So that's pretty cool. Can't get that. Ancient Allure is always good. Remember, you're always often you're going to be low on cards. This is not a card draw heavy deck. I mean, what do you got for card draw? Ancient Allure and Wrath. And I mean, I guess it is a decent amount of card draw, but it's not that much, right? In comparison to what some of the other decks might be having. You know, like a Warrior might be having. You know, they might do Acolyte. They might have Battle Rage. And they might have all sorts of stuff. So it's not that card draw heavy. So you will maybe low on cards, but that's why you have to maximize the usage of all the different cards. Remember, this is similar to and if you just think about how this really fits into how Druids play, like for instance, there was a very popular deck before, like an Egg Druid. So you had all the eggs. You had the Dragon Egg. You would have a Noyatron, Echoing Ooze. All those are classic token things because obviously when you power the wild, and there's also there was Soul of the Forest in that deck, but it's not in this deck. And that's because this is more of a mishmash of that deck and the more traditional Druid deck with the Druid of the Claw and and like ancient. I mean, the Shaded Naxxramas, I didn't play with it that much when I was beating legendary opponents. I didn't play with Shaded Naxxramas, but I think it's more important now. But yeah, I would certainly say with regards to variation, those sorts of cards, still good. Echoing Ooze is still good. I mean, I wouldn't say you should trade out the Shaded Naxxramas because it can often be very useful. But if you did, probably, like one Echoing Ooze, one Noyatron. That might not be so bad. Because you can get them in. And Noyatron is a good card as well, with that Divine Shield at low cost. But yeah, like I say, because of the new cards coming out, that may change a bit as well. But yeah, always look to win as early as you can, really. And yeah, I mean, when someone puts down a 3/5, that's the perfect time for Druid of the Claw. And remember as well, one final thing is Living Roots. By doing 2 damage, that can be very, very useful. For instance, like obviously, most of the time, the way I see it, this one similar to how you might think of. Perhaps gang up in rogue mill decks. Sometimes you want to have one for the deck. So you might want to, you might want to take the heal bot, have one of those healing, and then the other one you might just want to actually use. So you may want to use this, for instance. If you put it down on say turn 5, next turn they put down Tharisan. It will be a 3/3, and then you can just ping it with the Living Roots combo, and that's exactly what you want to do there. Throw a card obviously as powerful as Tharisan, or maybe a Sylvanas or something like that. Those 5/5s there you want to take care of, because you can't have them on the board. Yeah, so I think that's going to about do it. Pretty cool deck, and this will help you level up fast. So thanks for watching.